Welcome to Wave Manga. I am Adrian Manga, and this is Fire Force chapter 230. So, this is my first review of Fire Force. As you hopefully know, I love the series. I want to review it until it's over, because since it's in its final arc, I wanted to just get it over and done with. So, the opening for this chapter, the cover page is of the moon from Soul Eater, which it gets addressed to the moon in the previous chapter, but really, I'll mention it later, but you see the moon from the previous chapter, and Shinra and a little devil have an umbrella protecting them from arrows raining down from the sky. I don't get it personally. We do see Arrow later in this chapter, but nah. We first start off with Hibana and the ice guy from Company 1 looking at the moon, and they say, what the hell, it's such a cartoony moon. And the explanation on why the moon it looks like this is because Adola is connecting more with Adola is combining with the Earth, so I guess it's also affecting the moon. We don't quite know what Adola is. It's explained that this is how we draw the moon. No, we don't draw the moon like this. You do, creator of the series. Or if you didn't know, creator of this series also made Fire Force. I mean, Soul Eater. And we get a whole bunch of, like, we see Kanjuro just being like the straight man thinking, dude, you need to cut this stuff out. We need to focus on all this stuff. And Benny is mainly like, we better drink tonight under the moon with her watching. And it's just like Hibana gets her hood over her head like this. So I'm wearing a jumper, I'm about to go to bed, and that's the reason why. She tries to figure it out. Victor shows up with his afro covering his whole face with a medicine tablet, and we just get a whole bunch of stuff of people trying to figure out what's going on with the Cataclysm. I was fine with the Cataclysm just being like an apocalypse, but it's actually getting more interesting on what the Cataclysm actually is, because the Cataclysm we originally thought was just turning the planet into a star, but it's with the whole bunch of stuff like Adola is what our perceptions of people is, like it's our perception of the world. And with the moon, I originally thought, oh, it's so the world is making it more cartoony, but I don't know if that's right. It's just my thoughts. Kanjuro is talking to Hibana and explaining that a whole bunch of stuff about Hibachi from the previous few chapters are that he wasn't really all about destruction. Yeah, he was willing to destroy things, but it wasn't really all that big in destruction. Then we get a whole bunch of stuff, just people trying to figure out what the hell the Cataclysm is. And I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what the Cataclysm is. I would have been fine if, oh yeah, the planet just turns into a star. Because fire and all that makes sense, but I don't get what the Cataclysm is. Hibana basically just, I'm with her up until she just skips to death. Because yeah, that might be the end game, but we don't know how it's going to get to the point of death. And Kanjuro basically says, Benny, your doppelganger better not show up. And Kanjuro gets to the point of telling Benny, oh, your doppelganger better not show up, because I know how you... Here's an example of Benny. His doppelganger is a representation of what people think of him. What people think of him is a god of destruction. If his doppelganger shows up, the Cataclysm's over. It's already there. And we get to see like Benny's doppelganger with his two eyes and a smile and a Adola. This guy better not appear. Then we skip to Hajime Industries in the 2nd Division with Krona. Just like tired of fighting all these strong opponents because he loves picking on the weak. And it's just like, we skip all that stuff. We get quite a funny conversation with Kronos and his boss. I forget his name. Then we skip to Sho and Arrow, which I love this conversation and what the hell they are wearing. Sho is wearing the most ridiculous outfit I have ever goddamn seen. Archer has an alright outfit, not as goddamn ridiculous, except she has pants that look like a skirt, except with a slight slit at the very bottom of them. And something unique I picked up about Archer, her arrows in her eyes, they're pointing up, they normally point down, so either these arrows represent her mood, as in she always looks down, as in she's not in a good mood, when she looks up, and when her arrow's up, she seems to be in good mood. I don't know what this means. And then we get a scene where I don't get, why do people think that Sho's an angel? He's completely pale. He's albino. I'm gonna say that. Sho is albino. He's an albino child. And Arrow says, should I just kill him? And Sho said, no, not yet. All Sho really wants to do is just find out about his family, and this comes to a thing that I don't quite like in this chapter. Sho says that he can use his time ability. I thought he could only do that with the Evangelist, and he's no longer Adola linking permanently with the Evangelist, so no Evangelist, no Adola link. That means that he can't use his time skip. He can't use his time freeze. So, why would they bring it up? They could at least just show a panel of, oh, he can't use it, or just, I thought he said that he couldn't use it in a previous chapter, I don't know, but he gets the files, and they're at a playground, and like, Sho is like all happy because he gets to figure out about his family, and Sho's like only 12 years old. I actually quite like him actually being a child and not some stuck-up prick. And I actually like his redemption, because Sho is my second favorite of the White Clad. Right behind Assault. I love him as a comedic character. He is one of my favorites. Assault, my favorite comedic character in this whole series. But we get to find a fun fact here. Shinra and Sho's dad is not on here. My own personal headcanon was like, oh, Sho and Shinra's dad was a deadbeat and just left. That was my personal headcanon up until this chapter. So, their father has no name. So, that's a question. That's something that has to be brought up, because, okay, I'm gonna get to some things now at the end of the chapter. This dad thing is definitely something that needs to be brought up, since it's been brought up now. Okay, first of all, some doppelgangers we definitely need to see. We need to see Burns, that's an obvious one. We need to see, like, Shinra's mom. And I'm going to bring up a character who would make an amazing reintroduction. This is a character who's already died. Rekka. We know the doppelgangers, even if the original dies, the doppelganger still exists. So like Burns and Ben and Hibachi, those two survive after death. So some characters that could easily come back are Rekka and Hogs, because that would be cool, like having Hogs back. I actually quite liked Hogs. Sure, he had a mini arc and then he got killed off, but I like the arc. I like Hogs. But this is really an interesting question. I really want to see, like, doppelgangers show up. Like, we need to see Shinra's doppelganger again, and we need my personal thoughts of a character who needs to show up with their doppelganger. I can't remember her name. How can I not remember her name? Her name will be right there. Right there. I'm a fool, but when her doppelganger shows up, since doppelgangers are what people think of you, she's thought of as like a H, like somebody, like S. I'm not gonna have the words there or say the words, but you know what I mean. People think of her as like that. So definitely that'd be an interesting thing, since she wanted to be a nun. And it's not technically her fault that all this stuff happens, so I honestly do want to see that interaction. Those are the characters I think could show up as a doppelganger, but Benny's doppelganger better not show up. And if you guys want one extra thing about me and my thoughts on this series, Shinra and Princess are going to end up together. It's just my thoughts, my thoughts. No other questions. My thoughts. Fight me. Because I think Sister is going to... by the end of the series, and he's gonna need somebody to fill that niche, so why not Princess? Those are just my thoughts. That's the end of the chapter. Comment down below, have a like, subscribe, and all that type of stuff. Enjoy. This is Web Manga. I'm Adrian Manga, signing out.